Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name's Steve Johnson. I co-host Aurelio Martinez. Folks, it's time for our favorite segment, our third and final segment for the day, that open topic. And I'd like to say that, first of all, I'd like to talk about Aurelio Martinez and his penchant for destroying people's names. Like, we were talking about Joseph Parker. I know he was this close to saying Ray Parker because he was thinking about Ghostbusters. I know him too well. But anyway, Radio, let's start. Let's talk about your topic for this week on Open Topic.
Okay, good. You know what? I'm gonna start the ball rolling. I know we got a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna start the ball rolling on the up and coming fighters, and that does it a lot.
Go ahead.
So we'll just have to kind of keep track of time.
Yeah,
okay?
We got it.
That's our little timer that gives us our 10-minute segments. It's kind of went dead. But anyhow, let me get back to what I want to talk about. Okay, guys, I want to talk about how the boxing public is really being robbed of seeing all these upcoming fighters that are coming into the scene today. Steve, there's tons of them. There's tons of them that are just talented and skilled, but because the stronghold that your upper level networks like HBO and Showtime have a grasp, and they only work with Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum and these people with the money, and they can kind of control what you see, because you can see that HBO After Dark. I can't remember when we saw some good up and coming fighters there. Showtime's New Generation, of course, has highlighted and produced a lot of future. Back then, future champions that came up into the scene, but even now they kind of died. So if you look at the schedule, we're not seeing the best of the upcoming talent on this. But thank goodness for streaming, and streaming will take over broadcasting. Period. Okay, the networks need to be afraid, and they're struggling now to try to keep that stronghold, because streaming is not like it used to be back in the day, where you got to sit at your phone and you got to sit at your computer.
And it's going to be buffering every
and you
13
see
seconds.
these twitches and stuff, and you missed the punch that knocked them out because it was twitching. No, you can hook this up to any smart TV. People are getting these smart TVs that are already equipped with the wireless, and man, you can see this in 4K, high definition, better than what you're going to watch on HBO and stuff. So they got a concern, and a lot of the up and coming fighters are being streamed, so you just got to pay attention to watch them. To give you an example, just past weekend, Michael Dutchover fought, and he fought very, very, very impressive fight.
Now we know Michael Dutchover's originally from Texas. Didn't he move to California?
He trains in California.
Okay.
He still lives in Texas. I'm trying to think of the town, but anyhow. Yes, but he's come up. He's promoted by Thompson and
Thompson Boxing.
Thompson Boxing, and they're doing a good job. He's coming up. You got other fighters like that are coming. We just saw Teofimo come up and fight
Lopez.
Lopez fight an undefeated fighter at 25-0,
right.
Passed the test, and now he's up on his stardom. Of course, that's Bob Arum, and he has a way of showcasing his little fighter. But there's a lot of them out there that are coming. Okay, here locally, you got our fighter Misael Lopez, which is 8-0, who has a fight coming up September 16th, which people out there really don't want to miss. He's fighting an undefeated fighter, James Wilkins, coming in from Staten Island, New York, and of course he's from where's that place where Paulie and all them come from? Brooklyn.
That's where he's born.
Exactly. So, I mean, you got these fighters that you don't want to miss because you want to follow these guys. A lot of talent in these young fighters up and coming. So, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys pay attention to the streaming. If you got one of these old tube TVs, get rid of it. Go out to Walmart and get you a nice TV.
Well, I was going to say, most of the TVs now that you buy from Walmart, Target, Amazon, they're smart TVs.
They're equipped.
They're smart TVs, so you almost can't help but be able to get them. And I agree with you. The streaming is the wave of we used to call it the wave of the future. It's here now.
It's here now.
It's doing it, and like you said, the stronghold. For those that don't know, we were excited at first for a minute when Bob Arum signed that contract with ESPN because we said we both agree that Bob Arum knows what he's doing, how to move boxers. But when he has that a contract like that, you automatically know that he's still promoting top-ranked boxers.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're not with him, you really don't have a good. But then when Oscar signed almost identical deal with ESPN, we said, well, okay, but then we know Oscar doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So all he's doing is just locking up, once again, other boxers, trying to get him to be for Golden Boy. And there's that same, thing that we have. Then you have to go back east, and, Little Bella, with Star Boxing, still trying to do his thing. But they only have, they're few and far between.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The thing
But
about
you're
it
right,
is
this
the little
streaming
the little guys, they follow, and they try to be like the big guys. So they have the opportunity to stream and showcase fighters, but they put their fighters on there, and in turn they get the same thing. We need the streaming to showcase all these young and up and coming fighters, and I think that's going to happen. And before I forget, the Misael Lopez and the Wilkins I just talked about, exciting fight. This is a tough fight for both of them. Will be available on IBTV. Okay, so
wait a minute. It'll be available, but that's a title fight, correct?
That's a title. They're fighting for the ABF Continental Americas title.
Yes.
Okay, and you just don't want to miss that. It's going to be available on IBTV. That's of course their website is ibtv.us. Okay, not .com. It's .us. ibtv.us. So as we get closer to that September date, you guys want to pay attention and watch these young guys. Just give these young guys the support they deserve.
Okay, my segment, I think I've got since you took it, I think I got about 1 minute.
No, let's talk about it.
Okay,
Because
I actually have 5 minutes, and I'll be
Okay.
able to cover what I've got to cover. I want to talk about this, the World Boxing Super Series that we talked about in our first segment, where Alexander Usyk from the Ukraine picked up that WBSS title. He picked up the Muhammad Ali trophy. He picked up the WBSS purse for winning that cruiserweight title, $10 million. It's a travesty that it was not televised on US TV. It's obvious to most of us what it is. It didn't involve, Siegfried Sauerland Promotions, who actually put on that tournament in conjunction with a couple of other promoters. But because United States promoters weren't involved, they didn't even have any. You had one boxer that was involved from the United States. I think now we're down to the bantamweight and the welterweight divisions that are their finals will be in 2019. Originally it was supposed to be 2017-18, but little things that happened. But for 2017 and 18, Usyk is it. But radio, just it's really sad, man, that Muhammad Ali's wife, Lonnie Ali, last night handed the trophy, the cruiserweight trophy, to Alexander Usyk, and there will be, she'll do the same with the trophies in the other weight classes, but there won't be an American that'll get that.
Well, that's there's no one you can blame except themselves. They've got to go up there and get out of this mentality. And I'm talking about the American fighters that are already up there in that contender, in that top five thing. They don't want to take the chance and go.
Well, they don't have control over that. Remember, Gilberto Ramirez. That's my number one target in this. He's a super middleweight. Okay, in that super middleweight division, the top 5 super middleweights in the world are all in there except for him. He's the only one that wasn't in it. And Bob Arum, as you remember, came out and said, what we're looking for is the winner of the WBSS. See, I said before, of all the issues that I had, which were relatively few, with Andre Ward, it was all wiped out by the fact that he went over and competed in that Super 6 series and won it. Okay? No excuses. You go over there, it's for the best in the world. I don't care if it's over in Europe. Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather and Kathy Duva from Main Events and Lou DiBella, they could all got together and said, we're going to do that here in the United States. But they're all so busy about holding on to their own little niche.
Won't happen.
If they let Sauerland get over there in Europe, and he actually has the best fighters in the world competing. And these United States boxers, just from Arum And Oscar De La Hoya said, well, we'll just sit back and we'll call out the winner of that. Hey, man, that's some bullshit. It really is. And it's not good for boxing. But bottom line is everyone that got a chance to see it, that didn't see it last night, they will get to see it next week. I'm sure it'll be, somebody will show it.
Oh, yeah.
That fight with Usyk and Graciev. Too bad that it was...
What's that, a YouTube? Was that
It was
a
a
YouTube
YouTube stream, so
YouTube
you'll be able to
stream.
see it now.
There we
if you
go. We're
wanna
talking
see
about
it.
stream.
Yeah, you can go to YouTube and see it right now. Unfortunately for Graciev, and I only have a minute left, for Graciev, it wasn't his best performance, but I think more than not his best performance, it had so much to do with Usyk. Because Usyk,
Movement.
yeah,
The ring
Usyk
generalship.
hey man, like you said before, when you haven't seen it, I don't care what you've seen on tape. When you haven't been in there with it, it's a whole different thing.
You'd be surprised what a little movement does. You don't have to have the big movement, just a little movement. You'd just be surprised. And you can talk to any boxer that's been in there with someone that has good head movement, good upper body movement, and they'll tell you.
Well, don't forget, you
you
combine that with that rock hard solid jab that he had. Every time Graciev would slip one and come back and go through a punch, he's getting another one in his face.
Yeah.
Very impressive performance by Usyk. I don't think anybody that saw the fight, anybody who had seen him before, I told Aurelio, you got to see this guy. And I said, when they talked about and like I said before, Aurelio, this guy has defended his title 6 times, not one time at home. Not one time at home. He won the title in Poland. All of them have been on the road. This dude isn't afraid. He's not afraid of anybody. Right. That's a world champion. When you say world, that's a world champion.
It is.
He's fought in the United States too. Don't forget. He defended his title twice here. The guy's not afraid. He's awesome. He's a great guy. So anyway, that's going to be it for our third and final segment of this week of Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Aurelio Martinez.
You are?
That's Steve Johnson. Oh, you like the way? See, I was going to roll with that, but you caught me. I was going to roll with it. But anyway, I'm Steve Johnson. It's Aurelio Martinez. Hey, have a good weekend. We'll see you next weekend.